Hello guys, hope everyone's doing okay. Yeah, so just going to continue on doing the likeness sculpting today. We should be able to get all the proportions kind of finalized, and I'll probably start working on the body because there's not much left on the face that like I should do before retopology. There's really not much. I need to do the inside of the ear a little bit just to kind of get a proper hollowness to it. So we'll probably find some like ear injection molds or something to kind of copy. Inside of the mouth, still a little bit torn about how I want to do it. I'll possibly just do it while I'm retopoing, but we can have a think about that. And yeah, other than that, is nothing really going on. So we'll just kind of get started on that, I guess. So first off, let's get into Maya. I'm gonna hide the hair, hide the body. And that's the head, so we want that. Ref cam. I'm gonna hide the eyes as well. Okay, so I got that guy selected. So one of the things I want to fix is the height of the head, which to me currently feels too big. Although this one's not a million miles away, but then this one's also got issues with the size of the head in general. So I'm going to use this ref to help me figure it out. So let's just get view, camera tools. Come on. There we go. So yeah, it's basically like that point of the forehead and up. So like if we got the thickness of this brow, add it, I need to taper it back from there. Back here is not far off, there's a little bit of mass missing from the top of the neck there. But that could be fat from like kind of getting stuck on the collar. His head is stuck forward though, so I don't know how much to trust this chin. I guess we can quickly check that. We might need to hollow out the chin just a little bit more. Yeah, I think we do. Cool, well I'll do that then. Reduce the chin. Taper off the top of the head. Again, it's quite subtle. That one actually says it needs to be bigger. This one's not far off, but we'll do it anyway. So, once I've done that, I can line up the hair proxy. Where's my Wacom pen? Wait, where's my Wacom pen? Ah, there it is. Cool. So we want to just quickly go in, and so we got that thickness. I want to go one higher, so it's like there where it needs to start tapering, which I can see to be fair. So let's pull that back. I think this bit needed a tiny bit more volume in some of the ref, so let's just do that. Okay, let's start pushing that back. Just gonna quite gently bring all this in. Okay. There we go. So we need a little bit more mass on the back of the neck, didn't we, for it to work? Probably there. And then the chin needs to be pulled back quite a lot, so let's just do We need to keep track of where the Adam's apple is. There we go. Cool, so let's get that exported. Just going to keep that. Cool. So let's get that taken in. Turn off group, turn off all that. Export. Cool. So is this one, right? Yep. So file, reference editor. Can I dock this anywhere? I can. That bump's a bit much, isn't it? Yeah, I need to pull that bump back. I think the top of the head still needs to come down just a tiny, tiny bit. Or maybe that will feel better when we do that. So let's just ease this out. Okay, let's give that a go. Once we've got this in place, we'll focus on the ears for a little bit. That's a lot closer. So this part of the nose needs to be relaxed out, right? Because we noticed that in a few references, yeah. This part of the nose, so let's do that quickly actually, because that's a bit more important than getting the right depth for the ear. You've been listening to rap non-stop, what? Okay, let's try again. Let's go to home. Copy link to playlist. Is that working? Because that is the playlist I sent you last time, and it's definitely the right one. Need to pull this bit in a little bit. There's so much more neck there. Oh, I didn't check the chin, did I? Still a little bit less. And his head is turned, so it makes it a little bit tricky, but I think we still need to pull that in. Oh, see you later, Becca. Okay, so let's relax out the top of the nose there. Hey Dominic, how you doing? I think all that should do. Maybe pull that bit in a little bit. Yeah, I'm doing well. How are you doing? Thank you, Lol. You sent me this link in the last broadcast. Yeah, that's the link. Is it still coming up as rap? Because I'm literally copying it directly from the playlist. If you can't find it, just search royalty-free chill hop. Okay, let's give this a go. Been a long week, yeah, same man. Project I'm on is absolutely nuts. I'm gonna call that close enough because I think the rest of that is coming from pose. Okay, I'm gonna try to subtly. That's a lot closer. Definitely not. That's closer. Save that. Okay, we're just gonna do some micro adjustments on some of these. That I'm fine with. Your focus for work right now is lit dev. Yeah, in terms of professionally, I do lit dev. Primarily anyway. I think that's more accurate. Okay. That bit needs to be pushed in a tiny bit. Oh, this one's still got a few issues. Did I accidentally put it exactly where I left it? Okay, let's try moving it further over. Something like that works. Much closer. It's not perfect, but it's closer. Showing us that we've got too much volume here. So let's get that. So yeah, we need to shave that bit back a little bit. And I think add a little bit of width to the nose over here. Just a tiny, tiny bit of width there. So let's do that. Tiny bit extra width. And then it was up here, right? I need to shave it off. Which makes sense because that's around the temple area. Okay, and let's super quickly get some ear anatomy going. So let's go load recent. Cool. So I'm just going to search ear mold. God. I'm not going to put this on screen just because half of it is injection molds of ears and the other half is terrible infections. It's kind of gross. So I'll keep it off screen. Ear mold. Injection. I guess it could be worse actually. Ear injection mold. I just want to see what the inside of the ear is like. So I'm just looking for... That's kind of helpful. I'll just grab that. Okay. So it's keeping it off screen so you guys don't have to deal with some of the stuff that is on here. Oh, that's an amazing image. Medical in nature, but still very helpful. Obviously, you can only trust other artists' work a certain amount, but at the same time, if it's medical, then this is probably accurate, at least to a good extent. That should be enough to sculpt inside the ear. Fact Archive. I know you're not a lighting artist, but what do you think about lighting for VFX integration by eye, or relying mostly on HDRIs? I've seen a lot of senior lighters use sun and sky shaders and projections, much more than slapping on a HDRI and dome and calling it a day. It depends entirely on context. Like if the on-set kind of VFX supervisor or whoever is responsible for that did HDRI captures, then that is going to carry you 90% of the way because it's the actual lighting that was in the scene. If you don't have anything that was captured on set, then I mean, my personal approach would be to find the HDR that is close as possible and then just grade it down to make it not have a full effect and then add lights to kind of suit it. Obviously, yeah, physical sun and sky could work to an extent if you know roughly the time of day. You can roughly time of day and also the date and all that sort of stuff, because I think its Renderman's Sun and Sky is mental. Like, it covers time of day and where you are in the world and all that sort of stuff. So if you put like your coordinates and time of day and date, it will give you the exact kind of sun position, which is crazy. But yeah, that'd be my interpretation. So I'm going to turn on double, so we can see both sides. And we're just going to sculpt in from there. So I'm going to also temporarily hide one side, frame, then unhide the other side. Cool, so let's start sculpting that in. So it travels up. I always thought the ear would travel like down a tiny bit. Apparently not. Let's just get that going all the way in there. Okay, it looks like it immediately dives backwards a little bit, like that. And we'll just have to fix up this region here. And you're getting more into realistic sculpting now. This is your second realism sculpt. I wouldn't say it's my second. FK Twigs was obviously going for realism, and Pero, although I stopped at like the skin detail level, did spend time getting him to feel as real as it could with the reference in mind. Obviously the reference is kind of brutal in that project. Yeah, I'm just enjoying doing slightly more realistic stuff at the moment. I need to get some ear reference. Old man ear. In fact, no, I should search 50s man ear. Let's just get some images that are a bit higher quality. Let's see what I can find. Why are they all pierced? Like all of these. Just trying to find like anything that covers that part of the ear there. What is man inner ear? Okay, so obviously this isn't a 50s man. In fact, that's probably closer. Yeah, let's use that. Cool. So that's how that works. Interesting. The issue I've got right now is that this is getting quite low poly. Oh, I don't want to do that. Okay, use that. Have I been sculpting asymmetrically this whole time? I have. Nice. Alright, well, may as well go Hail Mary. Okay, it looks like it just tucks up under there. Is that the back of the ear that I'm seeing right now? There we go. Right, so let's spend a little bit of time. Do we have any references to the ear that are somewhat clear? Yeah, we need to pull all this way in. Hey Ibrahim, how you doing, man? Okay, let's sort out some of these forms. They're feeling very unnatural. So now that we can't really make out anything in this area. Why have I got it so small on my screen? Go. Let's get back to that other reference. So we need to consider that this pushing out might be because of the hearing aid that the person's got in, so retopologizing this is going to be fucking glorious. Oh Jesus, that's got a bit pinched. Oh, that's supposed to be pinched. Alright, cool. Let's just... That's not what we want, is it? Alright, so we need this to... thicken out instead done. Kind of make these feel like they sat against each other. Right, let's get back to that other ref. Are there any other good ones? This bit needs to be pushed in a bit, right? What I think I'm going to have to do pretty soon is switch to ZRemesh. In fact, I'm going to do that now. Yeah, I switch to ZRemesh. Okay, so we got that. We need to symmetrize it. So let's delete our lowest res. Before I do that, I'm going to save. So let's go to Preferences, undo history, enable saving, and block out. Okay, so let's go to Geometry, Modify Topology, Mirror and Weld. Okay, so we want the opposite of that. You want to mirror and weld from the other side. So to do that, we need to deform it, mirror, which will make it so that this side is the one that has that, and then we can go geometry, mirror and weld. There we go. Now both sides are symmetrical again, and they've got that ear canal thing going on. Right, so I'm going to duplicate this, and we're going to ZRemesh it. So let's just hide everything. Okay. So let's just do some basic ZRemesh guides. I'm not going to do anything too fancy because I don't need like actual topology for this. I just need something that works. A little bit broken, but okay. What the fuck was that? Okay. Okay, let's get that. Okay. ZRemesh tends to do a decent job on theirs. So we'll leave that as is. That'll do, I think. So let's ZRemesh that. I'm going to ZRemesh it to like 50k polys or something. ZRemesher. Let's go 50. It will always go above what you ask it for anyway, but... Okay, curve strength. I think that will work for first pass, so let's give that a go. And just let this do its thing for a moment. post only got 15 notifications on Facebook. Oh, Jesus. Right, let's see if that's worked. Looks like it should work. I don't know why that's happened. Why has it done that? I think we can weld that. It's literally just like beveled those. So Z modeler. We need to. How do we get rid of that? So I literally just need to weld that to that. Stitch? There we go. This is a weird loop. Why did it do that? Okay, so we can turn that off. We've got all our geometry, so I'm just going to go subtool. Go to, where is it? Project. Project all. So that's going to get everything projected. Cool. Let's relax the topology a little bit because there's a few areas where it's really struggling. In fact, I'm going to help it along and just straight up move some of these where I want them. Just get those in the right place. Okay. This has surprisingly done a good job. Like, that is not as bad as I expected. Probably should have given it some guides for the neck, but oh well. So we got that. Let's project that again. Okay, did that go? Cool. And then subdivide. Project again. Okay, subdivide. Project again. We don't want it to keep doing its thing. There we go. So now, in theory, I can switch between these and not see a difference. It's a little bit lower res. I have to go one subdivision higher for this to work. 6 million. That's a bit much. There's no need to go that high. Not yet, anyway. So let's go back. Cool. So I'm going to call that OK. Delete this guy. And rename this guy to match. So now we have nice and even topology. We can actually sculpt properly. We have a bit more control over the sculpting now. So I need to figure out how I want to do the inside of my mouth. Come on. Oh my god, please. Just orient. Okay, let's get all this evened out. Cool, camera's working. So let's get that there. See, technically it does need to go a subdivision higher for me to get what I want out of this. I'm not sure how willing I am to kind of do that amount of polygons. At least at this stage, like, I haven't even started retopology yet. Like, I think that'll do. Let's just thicken this out a little bit. Make it feel a little bit more organic. It's actually really helpful to be able to see the back of this shape. It makes it a lot easier to kind of round it out. Okay. Is there a way to soften normals in ZBrush? I feel like it'd be great if there was. Okay, so we've got this guy. We can go subdivision lower for lining it up in Maya. Can't go this low. That line's really weird. Oh, this legitimately did a great job. I'm impressed. But yeah, anyway, so let's get that exported. I think this polygon count is actually okay for my current needs. And make it a lot lighter as well. Quicker to load, all that jazz. Okay, I'm just gonna move my other screen around a little bit. Okay, there we go. Exports, head geo. Gonna be a lot quicker now. There we go. Let's just reload that. Okay. A little bit too much height here still. Oh, wrong one. So that will work. It's getting a bit flat at the top now though. Okay, there we go. Let's try that. export. I keep doing that. There we go, a bit better. This sort of lineup stuff I'm not going to worry about right now. I'm still a little bit concerned about the inside of the eye. Like the inside kind of corner. Because that feels like it needs to be pulled out a bit, but at the same time, I can't. Well, I say I can't. I physically can. There's nothing stopping me, but it's... I don't know. It's hard to tell. Because on these angles, it looks like it needs to go deeper. But then on this angle, it needs to come shallower. I can't tell how much of that, though, is just the impression that it's all giving. Or maybe this bit needs to come out and that bit needs to go back. Actually, that could be it. It could be that this bit needs to come out. Actually, yeah, I think that is. Alright, cool. So let's give that a go. And that bit goes in. So that creates a steeper plane change, which will solve my lighting issue. Well, potentially solve my lighting issue. It's getting a bit droopy now, though. Let me just quickly check what it was a few moments ago. So now I just got a steeper angle. I feel like that needs to be hollowed out a little bit. I'm starting to get a lot of stutters on my computer. It's kind of worrying. So we need to pull this in a fair chunk. So let's just go like that. Might work. Let's give it a go. Export. And let's check that side view. That's closer. That needs to come up a bit though, right? Yeah, I think it needs to come up in all of them now. Kinda. It needs to be relaxed a bit. So we need to pull it up a tiny amount. So let's go to front view. And then round it out a little bit, which will do it at a higher subdivision level. So it still gives us that kind of back slant. This feels really hollow. Also, the top of the nose got a little bit too big, didn't it? So let's just... Okay, so let's give that a go. I'm going to go to division higher. Export. Also going to save my scene. I need to attach a body at some point. Proportionally, it's looking very strange. I need to fix that. We got that exported. Let's try again. There we go. So that corner's getting a bit low, isn't it? In fact, yeah, that's the main culprit of this. This bit right here. Yeah, this bit needs to go up. Alright, cool. So let's just ease that up. Gives him fuller cheeks. Okay. I feel like the eyebrows need to go down a bit. We'll check that out in a moment. So, export this again. Okay, so watching this bit right here. Might have gone too far. Maybe not. If I have, it's going to be subtle. I feel like I possibly have gone too far. There's a little bit of a line. Although I think once I've done this last little bit here, I'm going to move on to the body. Because the body is very weak. Obviously we'll be covering it in clothes, but still worth getting right. Sometimes smoothing it out is the best way to go. Okay, so we didn't check the eyebrow height, did we? I'm expecting this to be really far off. So eyebrow height. I think it's this one is the eyebrow? No, that one is the eyebrow. Yeah, it's way off. So let's move the eyebrows down. Let's just turn off line. There we go. There we go. Okay, so we got that. Going to export that. Turn off group. Okay, then let's put out our last update to the face. Subtool, export. Let's not do the full 1.5mm version. Okay, so we got that. So let's move on to the body. So naturally, there's a lot of issues with the body. I'm just going to focus on Jesus. I'm going to focus on... I need to find some better body rough, actually. Let's go into a 3D scan store, see what they have. 3D scan store. So I'm just going to drag stuff. So body scans, animation ready body scans. Technically that's what I need. I need to find someone who's overweight, but like not too overweight. A lot of these models like on the fit side or a lot bigger? Yeah, they are. Okay. The closest one is the one I've already got. The other ones are a bit too big. Yeah, okay. Well, I'll leave that. Yeah, because we need someone who's not like fully obese, but is still, you know, quite large. We'll just sculpt vaguely what we see here. Obviously the arm is in a different place, so a few things will move around, but let's just start off by... Why does that keep resetting? Okay. So mine's feeling a little bit too kind of pointy at the top. I feel like part of that is because my bicep doesn't really have any volume. Not sure the mechanics of that lump there. Okay, so what's going on with the back? In fact, it needs to work on the back of the neck. Is that really how that all sits? Like, it's so much less slanted than I expected it to be. Okay, that's like the I can't remember the name of the head, but like basically the part of the trapezius that attaches to the top of the shoulder blade seems to be the bit where it kind of bumps out. So just try to even that out a little bit. And that kind of wraps around. I think that's just a bit of fat anyway. Okay, do we have a good angle for the back? Kinda. It's easing that all the way out. Okay, so really not worried about the lower arms at all. I'm more worried about getting the shoulders and all that stuff right. Okay, let me just quickly... I need to do some mental planning for a sec. Around there that a nodule needs to build. I think this one's a dominant one, right? The middle head. And this guy, if I remember correctly, kind of ends something like that, but then has like cartilage, connects him to the back of the shoulder blades, although I've ended that way too soon. But like, this area needs to be flat. Obviously that's ignoring fat, but you get the idea. So I need this area to build up, basically. Since this is like a little area where all the muscle goes through. I can't remember which side goes on top. In terms of like, if it's the top or bottom head that is like the furthest out. I think it's this one that's furthest out. In fact, yeah, this one must be the furthest out so that the arm can tilt backwards. It's been a while. I need to brush up on my anatomy. It's pretty weak at the moment. I'm just been so far out of the world of sculpting for like so long now that it's impossible to keep track of. I I do have like a functional anatomy course, like sculpting thing. Okay, so there's clearly something going on there. So I need to flatten that out. Is there a way to change the opacity of this? Alright, Control Y. Let's get out of that. Mode. Always on bottom, I guess. And then we can just... just get proportions right. It's not far off. That's really not far off. I'm going to make some assumptions that the shoulders need to be a little bit broader. He is fatter, so I expect all this to be a little bit wider. That'll do. Okay, so let's get mode always on top. Let's pull this fatness back a little bit. I don't think we need him to be that big. Cool. We need to really line up that second ref as well, right? This guy. So let's just do that. Mode, always on bottom. Something like that. Okay, so the back is... there's a lot of issues. I'm aware that my guy's a little bit fatter, so I do need to keep all that in check. Something like that works. Okay. Okay. That's getting a lot closer now. It's getting more reasonable at least. definitely an element where mine's too even top to bottom. It needs to be like kind of thicker at the bottom a little bit. I'd say that is good enough. One thing I'm 100% sure on is I don't want to start retopology today, even though I could probably start retopology now. I want retopology to kind of be its own self-contained stream, because I want to use it as a chance to send to some students and be like, hey, here's the process I go through. You know, you don't have to skip through to a certain point, like here's just what I do. There's quite a few students at the moment that I'm seeing like really struggle with some of the basics of retopology. Granted, I'm not a perfect example, but I at least, you know, get topology that's reasonable. And I don't take too long to do it. There's definitely, you know, way quicker people out there, but I can do it well enough to show students. Alright, so from a front view, this should be relatively straight, but still arched up a tiny bit. From the side view, or from top view, sorry, this should be like kind of kinked up a little bit, like that. That's maybe a little bit much though. And there is a kind of flat section up here, if I remember correctly. There you go, that feels better. Let's very quickly fix up the forearms a little bit. Even if it's just like the vague volume of them. Okay, that angle right there needs to bump out. I feel like that needs to go in a tiny bit. That needs to go up. Good enough, I think. Do we start blocking out clothing? Like, I don't know if I want to do clothing in Marvelous or not. I found I struggle with Marvelous quite a lot. It might be easier to just create it in Maya than Sculpt. Not sure how to handle that. Okay, let's spend a little bit of time thinking about the inside of the mouth. Like, do we want to do a proper, like, mouth kind of sock shape? Or do we want to just do, like, kind of, like, gums, everything modelled in? Or we don't technically need an inside of the mouth. I say technically, we don't need an inside of the mouth. And there is one perk that comes with having it as one mesh. That perk being that when lips make contact, they kind of blend into each other a little bit. Like, the physical force of the lips making contact kind of puts them together. So if I just search lips macro, you'll see what I mean. And this is a lot easier to do when you've got them as one mesh. Let me just search male. So something that happens quite a lot. It's obviously not the entire area. Let me just open image, new tab. So this guy's lips, for example. You can see how, obviously here there's a gap, which is like really dug in, but like here, the lips are kind of pushing against themselves. And this sort of stuff is a lot easier to do in one mesh. Like a lot easier to do. Also really loving these, how clear these hairs are. It's kind of cool. Hair shading is something I definitely want to dive into at some point and do properly. But yeah, that looks like it might... I don't know. Because his, like, I mean, naturally, there's no detail here. I don't need mine to be perfect, but at the same time, if I want to do something that's kind of representative of what you'd actually get, I should do like a sock puppet. Okay, let me try something. So what's going to be the best way to do this? Can't be transparent to itself. Lovely. Okay, before we do that, let's duplicate him and then push it back. Okay, about here. I'm gonna go geometry. No, it's not in geometry. Polygroup, sorry. Group masked. Where is it? It's not going to work, is it? Beautiful. Maybe we should do it in Maya. At least a block out of it. Beautiful. Why is it collapsing like that? I don't know why I'm liking this so much. There's something quite interesting about that to me. Right, this is a duplicate, right? So we can just delete that. Yep. Okay. So we got this guy. Yeah, we'll take it from here. So, hey Kiriato, how you doing? Okay, so let's get this guy exported. I'll export the body as well. Do we go with the high res now? I might work on the eye a little bit, because I need to start figuring out how I'm going to do the iris, right? So that's something I could kind of start on today, just kind of keep the stream going for the 2.5 to 3 hour mark. And then I'll head out, get some food, because I have not eaten yet today. We ran out of cereal. It's great, great morning. Working on this with no fuel is lovely. I think this, yeah, this should work. So let's export this. It's going to be a heavy one now. It's going to be like 200 meg, stuff like that. Then we'll have to get that exported to a yeah, may as well. Export body geo. Okay, and do the same for the hair. Export hair proxy geo. Okay, so move that to the other screen. I'm going to update all these. Damn, look at that dad bod. This should all move down a bit. Oh, never mind. That's looking at the wrong place. I thought I was doing the body, but apparently not. Need me to be on mute? No, I'm gonna move on to doing the eyes, as in the actual eyeballs. So let's get these exported. Okay, so cache Alembic, export selection to Alembic. Let's get to modeling, ZBrush, block out exports, and then we can just grab, in this case, body geo. Okay, do the same for this guy. Cache Alembic, export selection to Alembic. We want head geo. Cool, and then hair proxy. Cache selection, export selection to Alembic, hair, hair proxy, yeah, that's fine. Cool, so let's get these hidden. I'm going to open up that template eye, because we've got some work to do. So, iris. Let's hide the cornea, hide the fluid. So this iris mesh needs to be massively simplified to work now. So, is this actually like spherical? It is, okay. So where does it start to break down? I guess like there. Okay, I'm gonna duplicate that, put it into a template layer. Cool. And then we're just going to, I guess, for now, yeah, let's just remodel it. So we need a why am I stuck right now? Cylinder, that's what we need. And I'm gonna go with 16 sides. This is still locked. Cool. And then we're just going to delete all this shit. Extrude that. And delete all that in the middle. Then rotate that. Cool. So let's get this lined up with the corner of the eye. I'm only going to scale and move in Z so that I keep it all centered. So let's grab that guy. He needs to be scaled a little bit more. Cool. Now extrude. Scale again. So the key thing that I need to get right this time is the actual structure of the eye. So basically, let me just search iris anatomy. See if I can find an image that breaks it down well. If not, I'll just have to find that video and kind of make my own breakdowns. It's pretty low res, but let's see. That image there is probably the best one I've found so far. Because he has that kind of humor thing on top of it. I think that's what they call it. I'm just gonna put that on my other screen. So, if we're going to do that, what we need then is for this to sit further back. Because this is essentially like a back plate to the eye. So kind of sit something like that. Now another consideration to make is the fact that well, there's kind of a few issues really. We don't really have eyes that have like a uniform thickness. One sec. My brain is shutting down right now. Why is this so off center? Does that have transformations? It doesn't. Weird. Alright, let's try to line it up a little bit better. It's a bit better. It's off to the side as well. Weird, why is it got moved? Come on. Yeah, so what we're going to do here is try to round this out a little bit. So my people might be a bit deep right now. Okay, so that needs to come out a tiny bit. Then let's do that again. Bring it this way. So this is the capillary rough, I think it calls it. This is the bit that the eye actually attaches to. Or the kind of outer layer of the eye attaches to, I should say. Okay, so let's add a few loops and then add the edge flow. So effectively what we're expecting to happen is now we would have a kind of sheet that attaches here, attaches to that. I need to check that anatomy image. Oh, that's a good point, actually. How does this work? Okay, let's just block out something. I'm gonna smooth that. And then just scale it all up very slightly. Okay, so effectively now we can duplicate that, push it out a little bit, delete these guys, and delete these guys, I guess. And this becomes the kind of flatter part of the iris. So just move that back to like there, bring it forward. Okay. And this bit needs to have a thickness. So I'm going to do that now rather than later. Modify. Reverse. Okay, so how thick is that? That probably needs to be quite a lot thicker. I'm going to search iris layers and let's hope that I don't get any awful images. This looks primarily safe, so I'm going to bring it over. Called crypts, that's interesting. So I guess something we could have done actually is grab that original iris. Let's take it out of that. And I'm going to take the eye from this. Hello? Oh, it's still in. Okay. So I'm going to take all this away. Take all this away. Okay, and then I'm going to duplicate this, move it back a tiny bit. We need to flatten that out to that back layer, so let's just do that. Okay, modify, reverse. Okay, set to face, reverse. Okay, unlock normals. Set to face, reverse. There we go. I need to relax all these out, don't I? Okay, let's bump that back a tiny bit. Cool, so we can bridge these two together now. Combine. bridge. I'm gonna let it think. Might have just crashed though. I did it. Well done. My YouTube chat is freaking out right now. Like, it's trying really hard to connect something. I can't tell what it is. That's a lot quicker. Why is that so much faster? Either way, let's let that last loop. Edit edge flow. That works. Okay. Let's just grab all this stuff. So the last thing to do is to get some actual thickness on this guy. Which I'm going to do in that direction. In fact, actually, I'm going to thicken it out a bit more, but then just reduce this area. Okay, so modify. Free transformations. Oh no. Modify mesh display reverse. Okay. Basically this entire side. Don't want it to connect around, so I guess I should temporarily delete all this. Set that to surface. Okay, let's isolate that. I feel like we can pretty safely remove a lot of this. Okay, and then we just want to bring in all this stuff. So let's just grab that. I feel like that's probably a bit too thick, isn't it? need to relax that down a little bit. Okay, so technically we don't need a full thickness all the way back, so that's a bit overkill. Let's get rid of that. I'd say we probably don't need thickness until like there, maybe. Something like that. So for this to work, we'll need a heavy bit of displacement in this area. So now we can mesh, soften edge. Okay, so I'm going to call this, what's the name of these layers? One sec. Iris, is it humor? I'm trying to remember the name of these things. Okay, so I'm just going to call this Iris outer. And that one is Iris inner. Geo. We need that outer side. We need to inflate that slightly and then scale it out a little bit. Okay. Then we got the fluid. And we've got the cornea, which has a bit of overlap. It has a lot more overlap now, but I think that's going to be okay. Okay, so let's call that template IA. Yeti, no, why did I go to Yeti? Alembic, export selection to Alembic. I'm going to export this. Maya exports I template geo. We're going to do some very quick test look dev on this, see how it looks. It's going to be heavy, like excessively heavy, but we will see. So that's all fine. Yeah, that should be fine. I'm just going to create a new Importomatic just for a test. add the lambic. Scene graph. Okay, so we've got iris. We're going to call this iris back. No, inner. And we're just going to go up to here, rename that iris inner. I'm going to duplicate that. I'm going to rename that to iris outer. Inner outer. Cool. Let's go back to this. Iris inner. Duplicate. Okay. Okay, we'll have to remove this at some point, but for now, let's do that. Okay, let's go to our viewer, go to the test cam, scene graph. Let's just see how this renders. And while that renders, let's go into our material. AOC, just gonna call that base. There we go. Bit of an intersection thing happening there, which I'll have to resolve. I'm going to prune some geometries. Let's just create this prune. In fact, I've already got a prune up here, right? I do. Just create another one. Scene graph. Let's prune the cornea and the fluid. To see how the eye itself is rendering. Okay, so that iris is feeling a bit sore, isn't it? So where's iris inner? There it is. Okay, super quickly, just gonna massively reduce. Is there displacement on this? It isn't good. Okay, so that's all subsurface then. So let's go into this, just massively reduce that. Okay, that's better. So we have something a little bit more reasonable. So now is where we get a little bit fucky. Now's where we test the thing I wanted to test. If I just create a volume, plug you into that. if I remember correctly, this won't render correctly yet. Oh, it did? Interesting, okay. So let's try changing the color of this. It feels like it's still shading like a surface. 1, 0, 0. Yeah, okay, it's not working. Arnold object settings. This is all very hacky right now, so I'm not too worried about stuff. Iris outer, shading, volumetrics. Let's try that. Looks like it's working. Okay, so let's go into let's go to density, up that tenfold. Just going to turn some surface off on that back eye. Bit quicker to render now. Should probably set it up to allow me to make some changes. So okay, so technically there's two things I need to change here. So let me just go to here. So that back layer needs to be heavily pigmented, which means super dark. So let's go to there. So let's take the value way down, saturation way up. And then, oh, I hate that. Okay, let's go to our shader again. As a temp, that will do. Let's go back to our eye shader, or iris shader even. And let's just up this to like 20. What's our render settings set to actually? Oh, it's in global. We do have volume samples. Okay. Oh, volume depth is low though. Yeah, it's a bit better. So I'll just quickly color pick an eye. Let's saturate that a little bit. Is that really the color? Oh, I guess so. Okay, I'm gonna increase that even higher. Let's go to 40. And effectively, this is what I need to do to get like a more accurately rendering eye. I will also need fibers inside it, and need to actually look dev the people itself. But supposedly, from what I could find, this is the dark ring, where you're kind of getting less and less coverage of the volume. And that kind of change of value is coming from the thickness of it, not from the color of it. The more dense I make this as well, the more contrast we get. Like if I was to whack this up to 100, we'd get something that renders almost like a surface. And this is where brown eye colors come in. You get something that renders tougher and tougher. Hell, let's add another 0 to that. Yes, at this point it's really starting to render like a surface. Kind of like that, actually. One thing to be aware of is it's a very thin mesh, so this is incredibly sensitive. Okay, let me just quickly... So the color of this guy needs to be the color of a pupil rough, so let me just search blue eye macro. Images. I'm just gonna find a ref. It's gonna be near black. We know that much because it's like quote unquote heavily pigmented. Pupil rough. Haven't found it yet. Hello, Becca. There we go. That's the color I'm going to go for. So let's just work that in there. We got this guy. So darker, more saturated, and more red. Maybe even darker. So let's go like 2. Oh, I don't actually have subsurface turned on. That would explain it. And thus my eye became impossible to render. This line's a little bit harsh for my taste, so I'm going to bump that out. in the process kind of brightened up that middle bit, which I'm okay with because we are going to be putting a mesh around this, right, which is going to block a lot of light. I'll re-sculpt the this eye as well. Let's do like 2 more passes. The good thing about this is that although it's very heavy to render, at least it's a very tiny portion of the screen. Okay, while that renders. This needs to be a bit more blue than what I've got. This is like my main ref, which I'm going to go for. Getting these in there is going to be difficult. Like, really difficult. Because to achieve that, I essentially need to have a section where not only does the fog get denser, but it also changes tone. Now I need to get all these fibers inside it to make it feel a bit better. Let's make it a little bit more blue. Mine's too saturated and still too green. I just feel like the hue shifter wasn't necessary actually. Oh, actually, no, it's getting pretty close. Alright, I'll keep that. I'll allow it. Okay, let's take this feather out. So we can do camera matches. Or a camera projection, sorry, to get these denser areas. I wonder if there's a way to extract it from a surface. Either way, let's go up to here, remove this prune, and I'm just gonna kick off that render. God, this is going to be horrifically slow to render. Yeah, we've got a little bit of an intersection problem over there, so I'll need to fix that. Figure out where it's coming from. My guess is it's coming from the fluid. Keep moving the wrong thing. Right, shall we quickly copy over all the textures for the eye? Let me just go desktop. Wait, why did I go to my desktop? CG projects, best on projects, Gustave Doré, texturing, Charpero, exports. Need to grab anything that starts with I in iris. Use free will do. Let's go into John Singer Sargent, texturing, Mari, eyes, drag those into there. Cool. So then I'm gonna need to go to. I need to do a big think for a moment. So, scene ref. No, it's in projects. Where is it? Project settings. User. So this needs to change. Needs to go to there now. Does the backslash and forward slash matter? I'm gonna test that by putting that there. If it matters, in fact no, that won't make a difference. Okay, so we've got that. Then we can go to node graph. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of all this and replace it with, which one's this one for? ISO iVein shallow .tx. Okay. Okay. So now we can go to the next one. Oh, did I remove the color? Why did I do that? Okay, well, let's quickly grab it. Get rid of that. Let's grab you. I call. I'll replace all that stuff with call. Oh, wait, I've messed up there. What's the radius color in this guy? Okay, so that's a roughly accurate color. Perfect. Is that the real path? Or does it just actually need to be forward slashes? Let's check. Ah, right, okay, yeah, I'm missing some stuff. I know. Just removing that. Huh, that's interesting. Okay, so let's do the same for this guy. Just replace all the backslashes with forward slashes. Such a weird problem. That's all that done. Okay, and then go to our project settings, do the same. Huh. Okay, why are you not working now? It's still doing that. I messed up again. Hey, finally. Hey Oscar, how you doing, man? Interesting, never seen anyone use Katana. Yeah, I mean, welcome to it. It's a really cool tool. Disclaimer, Foundry gave it me for free. I'm not paid to use it, but I am provided with it, so. Okay, so that's working. Which means we should probably get this quickly thrown onto the actual model. So, we have template I set up. We have these guys. We basically just need to duplicate this guy and copy the transforms. Is there a way to like quickly copy transforms? Minus 1.5. Minus 1.5. So we'll just rename this to right eye group. Right eye group. And then we just repeat the same for the left eye. In fact, actually it would be quicker if we delete that one, duplicate this guy. Because all that should change between them, yeah, is removing the two negatives. Okay, there we go. That's all good. Ask for a nuke license when you have them, while you have them on your hook. I don't have them on my hook. I'm working with them. I do have nuke and Mari as well. So they've given me Mari, nuke, and Katana licenses, which is very nice of them. It's not obviously entirely one-sided. I am also doing stuff for them in return. So I'm going to be making like basically assets for them to use, assets for them to give away, and I'll be doing like tutorials and stuff as well with them, effectively. But the main thing is that I give them my assets, which I'm happy to do because I already stream all this stuff for free anyway. So I'm just gonna grab eyes. Okay, there we go. So, we got this guy, let's save him out. And then I think in the next stream, we'll start retopology, I think. So, let's get this closed. Get into Katana. Okay, we can delete this now, but we do need this, so... why is that there? Come on, there we go. AOS I volume, and we'll need to replace this with something a bit more procedural. So let's go custom. I'm gonna go into Geo and search for anything containing iris outer. And that will assign that for us. The material assign, I need to quickly update. In fact, actually, while I'm at it, let's just fix all this. Char John Singer Sargent. Okay, and we'll have to fix everything in here as a result. Just copy paste that. We haven't actually got a caruncle in there yet. Okay, there we go. So that's that. Select the transformed mesh and then select the mesh that needs to be transformed. Then click T. Oh, transform X, transform. Okay, cool. Is that how that works? Alright, cool. Let me quickly test that. That's cool. So, get into Maya. So we have our template eye group, which I'm going to duplicate. So we select the one we want to match, right? So, okay, select that, Maybe it's the other way around. In fact, no, it didn't work, did it? Okay. So I have to select these guys? Oh, hello. Okay, I'll have to give it a Google. In the meantime, let's see how this renders. So, get to Katana. One at a time. Oh, okay. So we select this guy, then this guy, then that guy, enter. Nope. Okay. Okay, there we go. Cool, that's great. Thank you, man. That's really helpful. Okay, let's get in there. Monitor. Let's do a quick test render. And it failed. Why did it fail? Okay. Ah. Did I replace eye materials? That's so dumb. Okay, let's try that again. There we go. Weird how a failing material assignment killed it. God, the render's gonna be so slow on the eyes. You should desaturate it a bit, don't I? Yeah, I need to desaturate it a lot. Let's quickly fix that. In fact, let's keep that on the screen. Why not? And let's get rid of the prune. Let's get rid of the hair. This is kind of helpful to have, in my opinion. IMATs. I need to reorder the materials as well. And also arrange them a little bit. But let's just start off by desaturating this. Let's go 0.1. Do we need to go even more desaturated? Cool. Do kind of rotate the eye a little bit. Let's just go to that render cam. Aim it directly at the camera. It's gonna look a little bit cross-eyed, I think. So let's aim it slightly out. So he's looking this direction, but not at us. Okay. As a temp thing, but I can actually remember these. 'Cause it's just transforms. Cool. So let's export that back out. We just need to go into Katana, kill that, scene graph, close that, util, flush caches. Okay, then let's go into Maya, export these, and Alembic. It's gonna look really stern, isn't it? Let's find out. This is gonna look either really weird or incredibly intimidating. I'm not sure which one yet. Whew, I should probably do like an aim constraint or something to the camera, so they just follow my camera around as I move it. Nice and creepy. Not done yet, but it will be done soon. Do I prefer that? I do prefer that. I'm gonna go with that. It's kind of creepy. So I'm currently implementing Ace's OCIO. Do you use it and understand how the interplay works? I do use it. I don't understand it. I got to match colors fairly close, but when importing images, I don't know how to use it with like Photoshop and Affinity. Okay, let's get this rendering. So I'm going to save this, close it. The Maya scene. I'm gonna I'll duplicate that as a backup. Let's call it I posed. Put that there. And then before I forget what these were, I'm just gonna set them back. Minus 1.5. Then go to this one. Okay, there we go. So we can hide that, and it just means we still got everything. Okay, so it's quite creepy, isn't it? Yeah, I think that'll be it for this stream. Made a bit of progress. We redid the eye setup, like fundamentally, in terms of how we're doing the iris. Not a far off color match, although I will be spending a lot of time kind of refining that further. I definitely need to pull the kind of bloodshot thing back, but we will be moving on to retopology very soon, I think. Will you texture it? Oh, absolutely. This is going to be a full pipeline project. I'll be going through. Obviously, need to do clothing as well, but I'll be doing texturing, look dev, groom, all that stuff. Eventually, like the goal is to like get as close as a match to the original painting as I can, with a few creative choices kind of thrown in there to play about. But yeah, no, I'll be matching it. Don't you worry. But yeah, so do you need to tell Maya every time you use a textual color spaces? And kind of. So you can set up color space rules. So basically, if you go into Windows settings preferences, you can go to color management, and you got these rules here. And basically, I've not really used these to be honest, but you can set it up so that it looks for a file extension or part of the name, and then applies a set color space to it. So for example, when it sees EXR, it sets it to RAW. When it sees HDR, it also sets it to RAW. When it sees TX, it also sets it to RAW. And then default is just set to default. But if I was to go in here and tell it to look for anything called col, I could set that to sRGB or output sRGB, and that should work. Although again, I haven't played with that too much. But personally, I just kind of constantly change it. I find that easier, honestly. Well, I say I find it easier. That's complete nonsense. I haven't tried the other method, so I need to do that at some point. But yeah, there we go. So that's going to be it for this stream. I hope you guys have enjoyed. I may stream tomorrow, not entirely sure, but I'll definitely be streaming Tuesday after work, so in a few days. But yeah, so I'll see you next one. Thank you for popping by. Next one we'll focus on retopology, I believe, so because we can probably start getting somewhere with that now. And we definitely won't finish it. We'll also probably have to figure out the inside of the mouth and all that stuff. But yeah, anyway, enjoy this today, guys, and hope you have a good one. Bye.